Yes,
Yeah.
what's going on, people? Tuesday afternoon, the sun is out. We're back live talking all the best things in boxing, but it has been a weekend of, should we say, false hopes. But no, it's been an interesting weekend in the boxing world. Here with the man as well, Sam. What's good, brother?
What's happening? I'm here. I'm live in the flesh, reporting live on this nonsense that happened this weekend that we so-called boxing. We witnessed Logan Paul make more money than most people in the fucking game.
That is the game, though, brother.
Hear it? It is. I'm not against it.
I mean, so we'll touch on the agenda briefly, but obviously we will kick off with Mayweather. So obviously Mayweather versus Paul. We'll talk about that. Thoughts? Did you watch the fight? Please remember to comment, subscribe. We want to get some views from the fans today, so please remember to hit that notification bell. And we definitely want to see, hear your thoughts, hear your comments. Also going to touch on the Dubois. Dubois returned this weekend, taking on Bogdan Dinu, getting a second round knockout. So we'll talk about what that means for the division. It talks about Trevor Bryant. Also going to talk about this weekend's clash with Lewis Ritson taking on Ponce up in Newcastle. I believe there's going to be a small army in the Toon Army. Quite ironic, but a small army of fans allowed to attend. We'll talk about some other things that are going on in the boxing world. But yeah, we definitely want to start, or let's start, should I say, with Mayweather taking on Logan Paul. So, bro, you didn't watch the fight, did you? Like, you didn't stay out?
Couldn't be bothered to stay out for that shit show, to be honest.
I was a sucker for that one. I stayed up. I have to be real. I can't lie. I stayed up, and it was a typical. To be fair, I enjoyed the Jarrett Hurd Luis Arias fight, and obviously Badu Jack. Good to see him back in the ring.
Badu, yes. To be fair, I should have stayed up for Badu. He's one of my favorite fighters, but
yeah. But I mean, in terms of the fight, bro, I have to say. So there's two things. I think it was. People might say a common culture, but it was a slight letdown because it was like low output punches, no real like venom being shown, and ultimately it was all about the bag. So I can't really hate on that perspective, but yeah, it was an interesting fight because you just think like really they just got a big check for doing nothing, bro. Now a lot of people have been crap at criticizing it, shitting on it. I still think, look, man, you just got to hold your tongue in terms of this is the game. People are able to make money this way. You mentioned, Logan Paul, the numbers that he's made more than a lot of boxers. But, on the backhand to that, bro, I'd also say few boxers have the profile he's got. Because during the prelude, I mean, the guy's got about 23 million YouTube subscribers or something ridiculous. Or Twitter followers or Instagram. But my point is, we're talking overall, like his numbers are huge. So he's worked hard to get to that position. Don't think we can just kind of like ignore that. It's not a competitive fight, but I wonder is it the people that don't like Mayweather that expect him to be actually getting in these fights, these exhibitions, and giving his all? I don't know, bro. So for me, I think we're going to see more of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Mayweather personally takes up this model and maybe does another 2 or 3 of these, over the next 2 years because it's easy money. You get the right opponent. It's got a bit of a profile. For whatever reason, people thought Logan Paul would win. Bro.
Let's not forget when McGregor was fighting Mayweather, how many people were piping up about how McGregor was gonna fuck up Mayweather. Like, come on, people were talking shit, man. People always like the underdog opportunity. People always like to see Mayweather lose, or people want to see Mayweather grovel. And I think people would still be willing to pay just a chance of seeing Mayweather being hurt or stopped potentially because he's not very liked as per se. So it's
bro, you hit the nail on the head. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, ultimately, in this game that we're watching, if they love you, they're gonna support you. If they hate you, they're still gonna support you because they're hoping to see you get punched up. So for me, I wasn't overly critical. I'm not gonna lie, I was very disappointed in myself because I stayed up and I was like, yeah, let's see what's popping. It's still an event. No matter what anybody wants to say, you could see from the build up, to the fight. You look at fight week. I mean, IFL were not there. I think any footage that they could put on their channel, it done numbers. You look at Boxing Social numbers, but you look at the American channels, Fight Hub, Fight Hype, Ellie Sekback. Like these guys, seconds out. They done good numbers, so it goes to show you that in the industry, you know, people are like us, YouTube, but we all watch YouTube, so we can't hate. Like, it's not like we're saying it like YouTube is some type of thing we stay away from. We're all consuming content. For me, boxing content is the best boxing content is found on YouTube, in my opinion.
YouTube's the new TV.
It is, bro. So for me, it's like, yeah, I think we just got to see it for what it is. Now, what I do want to speak about, though, Mayweather mentioned Pacquiao in his post-fight interview, and obviously he's kind of throwing shade. And I think that one, Mayweather's got to be careful and leave it alone. You got the check, you know, you got the bank. Like, leave Pacquiao alone, unless you're talking about you're coming back to fighting, which I don't even think you need to do. I think leave him alone, because ultimately, you know, and maybe that's the ploy, right? But when you do all of that, you know, he's fighting Keith Thurman, he's fighting Spence Jr.
No, exactly. I think Mayweather needs to just relax, man. Enjoy being a grandfather, which I didn't know about until I watched the Showtime show. Enjoy being a grandfather and just enjoy retirement life. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, you're making your money, you're doing your thing. You've got your strip club, you've got the nicest house in Bay. Although, even though he does say all that, I do feel there's a little bit of insecurity there, man, because it's like he talk all the time about his Vegas house, his this, his that. And it's like, come on, man. We've heard the story, million of what. Like, even what Logan Paul said, yeah, like, Mayweather's got a jet. His jet's bigger than mine. Phenomenal. What next?
Yeah. I mean, that's the trappings of money as well, ultimately, right? It's like, you can buy all these material things, and I won't buy into that conversation about legacy, but ultimately, all these material things, is it making you happy? And yeah, two things I think, you know, and this is away from boxing, you got to worry about the lifestyle, not even necessarily for him, but his children that they're accustomed to. You know, that's a lot of pressure for them, even going into their adult life, to be able to provide for their kids, provide for themselves and their family. So yeah, it's all good. Like, you're getting out there and you're getting this check, and I know he's got investments. And obviously this check, they said maybe 300 million, but maybe up to like 70 million was the range. Like, of course, you can't turn that down. But I think I agree with you. I think all the material stuff, it shows the insecurity. But you know what these guys say, bro? They don't care. When they're in that private island with a private jet, like, like this time, like right now, me and you, like you didn't watch the fight, I watched it. Literally, Mayweather and Logan, they're just chilling somewhere doing whatever they want. But I didn't realize how big Logan was before this, bro. I'll be honest.
He's a big guy, bro. That's why I thought the win.
Not size,
bro. That makes me rate KSI a little bit more.
Yeah, but not by size. So, and I'll let you go. Not by size, bro. I'm talking about his popularity. I didn't know how huge he was.
No, he's big. The Paul brothers are big, man. They've been big, man.
Yeah. So his physique might cause Mayweather some problems.
I thought, do you know what? I thought he was slapping around the ring a little bit, like, move man around. Like, come on, like, science. He's a big guy, bro.
Yeah.
But it just clearly showed that Mayweather was just able to tuck. He was able to defense and tuck in and just. But what I didn't understand was all that whapping. What's all that about? What happened to all this boxing technique? His coach should be ashamed of himself.
Well, that's zero technique 101.
Yeah, man.
Ultimately, though, bro, let's be real. It's like the level of technique he was going to need to learn. It's impossible. It's just
but bro, there was no basic 1-2 uppercut right. I didn't see none of that because I watched the highlights. There was no double jab right hand. There was no leading off the. There was no body shots. There was no nothing. There was no cutting off the ring. You'd think my man's been training for 2 years now. For 2 years, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. That's not all he's doing. And for me, I'm like, yeah, it's just, when I say it's not enough, like, it's still not really enough, man. It's not really enough. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. Oh wow, big news, man. Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yarde rematching July the 10th.
They're not rematching, are they?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I'm saying now.
Nah, I heard they were fighting someone else. Really? Shit, boy.
That's what it's looking like, man. That's what it's looking like,
I thought
bro.
they both had their opponent. I thought it was going to be on the undercard.
Of what?
I thought there's a July. I feel like I heard they're both fighting undefeated guys. I think Lyndon Arthur's headlining, but Anthony Yarde is co-headlining. He's the undercard.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right. No, so
I
my
don't think
bad.
they're rematching. I was
Yeah,
going
the
to
way.
say that's a big move.
Yeah, no, the way it's written, it's like, oh, they both return, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Yeah, I thought that initially as well. That was a Box Nation trying to get some hits, man. But
yeah, that's
unfortunately,
what I'm saying. Like, cool.
they're not rematching like we thought. Like what we hoped. I thought even
I
if
think
Yard rematched Lyndon Arthur, I'll say that's a risky move, man.
I mean, I agree with you. I think he should get more get more rounds in the tank. But I do want to see that rematch though. I do want to see that rematch. I'm not gonna lie. I think that makes for a
What?
very, very interesting fight.
It is going to be interesting. Lyndon Arthur, he beat him with one arm, basically. As
Yeah,
much as I thought it would be a draw, because I thought the fight would go a draw, because you know how Yard's a BT sports favourite. So I thought it would have gone to a draw, which is what I predicted. But no, Lyndon Arthur just about got the edge in it. And I felt he deserved that win. Um, I don't know. I think he hasn't left Tunde, which I think is very noble of him. I think that's very loyal of him.
mm,
But let's see how boxing ability really does improve. I mean, if he's brought in James Cook. James Cook, is he a world level coach? No. Is he a very respected man in the British game? Yes. But
yeah,
I don't know if that could be enough to change the way Yard operates, you know?
yeah.
I don't think
No,
that would be able to change the way in which Yard operates. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think time will tell. But like you, I mean, I remember that pick. So it was a strong pick for myself, if I do say so. And I'll say, yeah, for me, Lyndon Arthur, I think. Yeah, I think Yard is gonna struggle. I'll be honest. I think styles make fights, as the old cliche goes, and I just think Lyndon Arthur he would potentially only get stronger. As you said, knowing that he kind of was using one arm, and he just Yard was struggling to get inside the jab. And I think if his right hand, if his right is fixed up, then I think that's gonna make a good fight from a countering perspective. But with Yard, I just don't see him, and we don't really see it anyway. Like him beating the guy with the jab, utilizing the jab to a high standard. So yeah, even if he didn't take that rematch, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't hate, because I do think he can fight other opponents which can still give him good credibility. So yeah, I think that's a good one. So yeah, sorry to interject on that one. Let's go back to another Frank Warren stable mate of theirs, sorry, Daniel Dubois, stopped Bogdan Dinu in 2 rounds last Saturday. What did you think of that?
I predicted that actually. I said it was going to be an early stoppage from Dubois. Yeah, he's back like we never left him, but there's not really much to tell from it. I wish he kind of got more rounds in to see how he was under Shane McGuigan, but they've been together for less than 20 days or something stupid like that. So, yeah, I'm happy he's back on a winning streak. He's got his win together. He's got his confidence back. He's out of that ring rust. And now I really want to see Daniel rebuild and really go after some of the top British and really regroup himself, do the British, do the European level,
Yeah,
and try and really re-engage and build himself again. I think Dinu's about the set European level, if I'm correct. But I think he needs a few more of those before he has that little bit of that step up before he takes on someone like I'll probably say the next 3 fights, all going well under Shane McGuigan. I'd like to see him take on someone like a Hunter, man.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Or
mean,
Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas.
I still think that's a dangerous fight. I mean, I don't know who was saying it. I think it was Ade. Yeah, I think it was Ade that was saying it, and that's I'm in agreement. I think Sam Jones came out with a tweet as well, and I just think they're talking about Trevor Bryant and all of that, and whilst he's going to have the beating of him, for me it's like, why beat these high level guys? Because it just shortens. Like, I think you need to learn more, and I just think by fighting like a Trevor Bryant and Oscar Rivas next, okay, you beat them. Who after? You can't go down a level, and I think this is the time where you can kind of like build step by step. Work on game plan, maybe working on this with a certain type of opponent. Because as you said, what do we learn from Daniel Dubois knocking out Dinu in 2 rounds? Nothing. But we know that's not the test. Do you see what I'm saying? We want to see, okay, is the head movement coming into play now? Like, you're jabbing. Are you staying behind the jab? Are you maybe using better movement? Obviously, you're a big guy, so that's still a challenge. But are you circling your opponent in a lot better fashion, or in a more strategic fashion? So you look at that fight and you think, all right, the big punch landed, and I'm like, what's the point? It's a waste of time. And I just think they really should be using this time now, to just like, I know he's got the power, but he is still young. Like, use this time to really sort of build the fundamentals. Maybe put him in sparring camps with other of the top guys, guys that probably he might pose for a good fight, but guys that he gives a good sparring. He's learning, iron sharpens iron kind of thing. But putting him, fast tracking him, I'm just like, I'll be honest, I almost say it's not even right. It's slightly criminal, because you kind of saying to yourself, like, what is the purpose? What would be the purpose of putting Dubois in with Joshua?
Nah, stupid. I don't think Joshua would take the fight. Not that he would. I mean, if the money's on the line, he'll take it. But I mean, he wouldn't. I feel like Joshua's the kind of man that would chat to Dubois and be like, get some experience first type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he will definitely say that publicly. Big up Conrad Bjorkson in the building. Yes, bro, I hope you are good. He's saying Bryant would be terrible matchmaking again for Dubois. He won't learn anything from that. So you think they will get him a title and then pad his records and sell him out in a big fight? Yeah, that's what it feels like. Exactly, like you said, in inverted commas, he'll be a manual chart, but obviously being younger, maybe they'll get that big fight. But I just think let him learn. And I think last part, my boxing, or they actually interested in building him as a boxer. It doesn't seem so. And that's where you've got to say to yourself, like, the management. And I know even someone like Buatsi gets stick, but you look at Buatsi's sort of record, his pedigree, like, they matched him in the right way. Even a Coley, to a certain degree, matched to the right way. And I'm talking, these new boxing promotions or boxing management companies. For me, Eddie Hearn wouldn't just throw somebody in there wrongly. And I think this is the term that Comrade Boxing uses, that probably in the States, they probably overpad your record. So they make you get out there a lot more for that very basis, so that you've got a high ticket. So you all of a sudden are 20-0. But actually, if you look in the detail, there's not a huge amount of opponents. And even when we look in the detail of Dubois now, it's like, why fast track him? Because we're always going to go back to that loss with Joyce. And even his response to that, bro, I don't know if you heard his comments. He was like, yeah, he'd like to go back in. You're like, why? This ain't, do you know what I mean? Forgetting the eye injury, like, you couldn't get past the jab. And you landed, when you look back, bro, he landed some proper shots on Joyce's chin, bro.
Yeah, no, that was heavy. I was looking at Dubois like, shit, boy. No, but Joyce did get hurt a little bit. Let's not get it twisted. He did get hurt a little bit, but he firmed it. That's experience.
Well, there you go. Oh, and bro, to be fair, at that level, he didn't get hurt enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, didn't put him down. Like, he wasn't really. I know what you're saying. There was a couple of moments, but like you said, there were situations he could firm. I feel like in heavyweights, when you get hurt, like.
No, true. I think so. Speaking of Joyce, though, where does he go from here then? Especially with this whole potential mandatory WBO obligation from Joshua's side. If he doesn't vacate, which that's the word on the road is that he's not vacating, where does Joyce go? I thought Joyce should fight Hrgovic, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one. I agree. That's a good option as well. That's a good name. You got to feel for him, because Dubois had an eye injury, surgery, and he's back out before Joyce has even laced up his gloves again, or even found an opponent. I would imagine something's going to come soon, because that couldn't have sat easy with them watching Dubois on the weekend, especially headlining. I think Hrgovic is a good shout. Is it worth it? I don't know. If you look at it tactically, like, him being so close to fight Usyk for an eliminator, basically, you've got to wonder, is Hrgovic, what is he? Is he the IBF? He's in the IBF rankings, and is that really going to get him closer to the champion? I don't know. It's a tough one for him. I mean, I would like to see him in a tough competitive fight, but I think we're getting into the area now with Joyce where it's probably going to be strategic. It's going to be very strategic. I mean, I think it's good to see that he was ready to take on Usyk, but his thing has got to be strategic. What do you think?
Yeah, no, he has got to be strategic, but then you've got to ask him, is he going to wait around for and be inactive? I think he should take a leaf out of Dillion's book and just fight whoever's available for the right amount of money and just test yourself. But I believe Joe Joyce has the beating of Usyk though. Usyk hasn't really impressed me at heavyweight, man. Just because I see that from the Derek Chisora performance, I haven't seen much.
All right, big up Comrade Boxing. He's saying 14th of June is the first bid for Joyce versus Huck for the EBU. It's European. I assume Joyce is waiting if the Usyk fight still happens, and if not, might actually fight Huck. That's not a bad shot. I think that's the type of opponent that you want, if I'm being honest, for Joe Joyce. You know, Marco Huck. You know, you can pad him up a little bit, but Joyce should have the beating of him. And it's a good keep busy fight. You know, you're not like totally down in tools. So I think that's a good fight. I appreciate that, comrade. That's really good to know. But I know what you're saying about Joyce in terms of like taking a leaf out of Dillian's book. But I just bro, I just don't think we're gonna see that. Yeah.
In the current climate of the boxing world as well, I don't think we're going to see that many risks as we did before because there's not as many shows. We don't know how long shows are going to be going on, if they're going to have a lockdown and whatnot. So yeah.
Exactly. And so no, Comrade Boxing there with the comment just to stay active. Also got a touch, so we missed it last week. I think the news was announced on the Wednesday, but Matchroom have officially left Sky Sports. Quite ironic, the week they left them, Sky Sports had to resort to putting on Mayweather versus YouTube. Whilst the only good thing about that was all the Mayweather reruns. In terms of Matchroom, Sky Sports, The Zone, they're saying at the moment Joshua is still due to fight on Sky Sports. How do you feel generally about that deal, bro?
Excited. I'm excited. New content. We've been saying we want to spice things up a bit. And there was a lot of complaints about Sky Sports. I mean, without them, the boxing game wouldn't be where it is now. So obviously we've got to pay homage to them. But in terms of where it was getting, I felt they were very, very biased towards a lot of fighters. And I felt the commentary kind of killed a lot of the fights sometimes, especially with Joshua and other fighters. The way they were talking about fighters during like the commentary from the likes of not Adam Smith sometimes, Matthew Macklin, those guys kind of choosing and having selective here and where a selective kind of bias as to who they want to support in the fight instead of being impartial. I feel the Zone's going to have a new breed of life, man. It's going to be very interesting. A lot more kind of new school production. I think it should attract a lot more people into the sport. But all I know, I'll be interested to know what it goes up to.
I mean, yeah, I think we evidently know that it's going to go up. In terms of that comment, though, bro, I think with the bias, yeah, I'll be interested to see if that changes. I feel like that's just a network thing. You know, you look at ESPN to a certain degree. Whilst they always have one or two of the analysts that are probably more down the road, the majority of them do kind of show a bias to the home fighter, if you like, whether it be network or country. I like Andy Clark. I think he's really good. Him and Matthew Macklin have a podcast. But I think Andy Clark is quite good. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I like the fact that he's quite knowledgeable about the sport and he tries to just keep it to the facts more than his personal emotion, which I feel a lot of the other analysts don't do. So, and maybe it's because he's not a former fighter. He speaks from a facts position. I don't know. But yeah, I think with the Sky Sports, I guess you could always say it's been coming. I do think, you know, one of the things that we kind of maybe forget because we get the fights is, like you mentioned, their content. You know, you think back to Ringside, with Toe to Toe, Spencer Fear and Johnny Nelson, Alan Smith. These were weekly affairs. You know, these would be two sort of shows with weekly affairs. And as the YouTube digital content has gone up, like Sky Sports have reduced it in the boxing world. Clearly, I understand their focus is on the boxing. But yeah, I think it is a shame for them. And also it's a shame for us because now as consumers, I'm not sure what kind of quality we're going to get because forgetting, you know, they may go to they might start bidding for the fights on, you know, PBC or Top Rank, you know, in that world. In the UK, I'm just more worried like what fights are we going to see? Now, it could be an opportunity for us to start seeing more grassroots talent. But my thing is, will Sky invest in grassroots talent with the smaller whole show promoters if they weren't even doing that with Eddie Hearn to a degree?
Bro, like Eddie said, like Barney Francis was a big driver in the boxing world and whatnot.
Yeah.
Seeing as Barney Francis has left Sky, it's kind of like I just kind of seen a lot of things go downhill, man. So,
yeah. And is it, bro? Do you think we're just biased because obviously we love the sport? So we're like, why are these guys reducing their involvement when it's like the market seems to be growing?
maybe there's other sports that are growing. You see, like they've got other channels now to like NFL's a big push that they're trying to get into. Golf's a big push for them. They're all starting to have their own separate channels, and I was a bit questioning why boxing hasn't got its separate channel, but clearly it's not enough for them. I think Sky Sports are about to get esports into the game as well, so it's like, yeah, man, boxing doesn't seem like it's about their agenda.
Yeah, no, I mean fair enough. Look, it's business, so I can't hate it. But I do think from a design perspective, I think it's going to be interesting. Now, again, for us, we're in the game, so we're kind of up to speed with what fights are going on. I think for Matchroom, that lack of a Sky Sports News could impact them, because I think Sky Sports News was so cross-functional that, even when you put on a Ritson versus Ponce there, like people are able to know that that's happening now. You might be able to get little, interviews at the press conference, weigh-ins, those types of things. And now I'm just like, okay, whilst the boxing is hugely consumed on YouTube, I think it's probably what the stragglers is those guys, how they're going to attract them. But I'm pretty certain they would have done the maths and thought, you know what, like it works. There's something they can make it work. I do hope though that we see like a lot more competitive fights, and I feel like that's going to be the case. Like they're speaking about Fight Camp. There's rumors coming out from Fight Camp, and it seems like there's going to be some competitive matchups. Well, I'm here for it. Laptop, phone, we consume the sport anyway, to be fair.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So, just talking about the other fight on the undercard, though. Got to talk about Jarrett Hurd versus Luis Arias. Jarrett Hurd, man, he's like, since that loss to J-Rock, man, he's really not been the same, man. And you wonder that, because he was referred to as a weight bully, you wonder whether he just needs to start. I mean, he was at middleweight, but maybe he needs to go to super middleweight. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he's not the same anymore. He needs to move like a weight, man. It's pretty simple as that. He needs to find something to reignite his career, because he's not looking as tasty as he used to, man.
Yeah, bro. It's an interesting one. So yeah, for me, I think he's definitely got to go back to the drawing board. And he's got some good people in his corner as well. I always shout out Kay Karoma, well-schooled coach. Really knows his stuff. And Jarrett Hurd, just doesn't seem to be doing it. But yeah, it should be interesting. I was going to say this weekend we see the return of Shakur Stevenson. I've got to say, for me, he's one of the top prospects out in the game at the moment. What's your thoughts on his fight? He's taking on Jeremiah Nakatili. I want to say he's Namibia. He's coming out of Namibia. What's your thoughts on that?
Just good to see Shakur Stevenson. I expect him to win, obviously, and have a convincing point win. I don't think he'll get a stoppage, but just be good to see him move around, man. Shakur's a great talent, and then after this, I want to see him push on to the next fights, the bigger stuff.
Yeah. Yes, so we've got a comment here from Karma Serene. She said, Arias won. I know we can talk about his Hurd, crying emojis. I know. We let ourselves down on that part. But you know what it was? He was, I don't know, maybe I was looking forward to seeing Hurd get that win, be professional, get that win, and take on a Charlo. Like that's the fight I felt we could really be building towards. So yeah, you are right. Got to give Arias his props. He done what he needed to do. It wasn't pretty, but I think he got that victory. No doubt. But quickly back to Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, bro. I think this guy's a real talent. I think a lot of people kind of sleep on him. He doesn't get spoken about hugely in the division, but I think you look back where he's come from since the 2016 Olympics in Rio. And I think he's going to make a name for himself. I don't know what happened with the whole Andre Ward situation, but for me, bro, that's one of the big talents in this sport right now. And
aren't together anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there was an issue there. I tell you, there's an issue. I can't say that, but he's not working with him anymore. He's solely working with Jay Prince. But for me, Shakur Stevenson, that if we could get a build up to him fighting Chris Colbert, well, I think that would be fireworks. Both of those guys.
To fight who?
Chris Colbert. Prime time chicken. He's Chris Colbert in the States. I think he's a real talent. I think he's a bit of a dog as well. In terms of his ability, his mindset, and I think the two of those guys, if they were to get it on, I think you're talking about a huge fight. Feels like they might make that marinate, but yeah, hopefully we might see something like coming from that soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so yeah, bro. And anything else that caught your eye this weekend in the world of boxing?
What else caught my eye? Not much really, man. Just kind of interesting to see Eubank's next move. On a side note, interested to see what Chris Eubank's got to offer as a next move.
Yeah.
Interested to see that, and just interested to see how the whole matchroom fight camp comes about.
No, absolutely. I mean, Eubank, let's talk about, he might be involved with that fight camp.
I hope so, man. He needs a big fight, man. The guy can't be fighting all these average people now. Otherwise, he's forever going to be known as a British European level fighter.
I mean, realistically, though, do you think? I feel like with Eubank, though, I mean, I do feel like he should be fighting some of the American guys, though. I can't lie.
Yeah, but that's why he signed to PBC, right? To get the Charlo fight.
But he's not with PBC anymore. He's with Wasserman, so he's virtually a matchroom.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking he should have got I don't know, man. He needs to fight some of these guys, but he's over in the Las Vegas living his best life, man.
I'm telling you. Just a comment here from Oliver King. What's going on, bro? Good to hear from you. The DAZN move, he said the DAZN move signals more fights and exposure with US/Mexican fighters. The subscription model opens a world of opportunities for matchroom outside of the UK. Totally agree with you on that. I think we saw that with the influx of Mexican fighters coming over to the UK last summer. But I think moving forward, we're going to see more of that. If you remember the Haney Linares card, Conor Ben was out there. Obviously, Martin J. Ward was on the card. Who else? Who did Sissoko fight? He fought an English kid the other day as well. So, yeah, I expect to see a lot more. So we've got Karma Serene with another comment. Does Chris Eubank Jr. have what it takes to compete on world level? Yeah, I like Chris. I think, you know, he's a reasonable guy, but I don't think so. What do you think, bro?
I don't know, man. Unless he gets a vacant title to fight for, I can't really see him taking any of the guys for the title. I can't see him fighting Canelo. I can't see him beating Canelo, bro.
I mean, that one's obvious, but let's say even like lower down the rankings, like, do you know what I mean? Could you see him taking on the Charlo?
Great fight, but I don't know, man. Doubt it.
I mean, I think the fight for him, if he really wants, which is world level. I'm not saying he operates there, but it is world level. I think he's got to try and chase that Golovkin fight. But realistically, for me, I think if I was him, I'll try and chase Golovkin or Andrade, because I think,
Andrade, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think, you know, at 168, like if you want to stay there, it's not. I just think it's not the natural weight for you. I think those guys will kind of like, you know, the Plant Benavides. I think they're too big, too strong, and skillful. And I think, you know, guys against Andrade, that will be a hard match for him because he's going to have to use his boxing brain. So we'll get to see where his fundamentals are. But yeah, I think world level, I think he's going to struggle. I've got to be real. I like Chris. I think he is a bit of a refreshing talent, but the problem is he's getting on. Like, he's getting older now.
30 plus, man.
Yeah. You know, so you've got to say to yourself, like, you know, a fight against Golovkin would be a big fight for him, a big skull. Other than that, you're saying he fought George Groves, lost, Billy Joe Saunders, lost. The best win is James DeGale, but obviously he won his retirement after that. So it's great, but it's not like phenomenal. Especially given that you lost to Groves. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Chris Eubank goes from here. But yeah, let's see what he comes back with. And then this weekend we've got the matchroom card in Newcastle. Ritson taking on Ponce. What's your thoughts on that card overall?
Yeah, happy about it. Interesting to see. Looking forward to see Babbage get at it.
The Savage.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing him. But yeah, besides that, it should be good to have the fans back.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think it's gonna be an interesting card. I think Lewis Ritson, it's a good opportunity for him, you know, to get himself closer to a world title shot. Yes, I think that's from his perspective. You know, I know a lot of people are critical, but I think, you know, it's worthwhile. And also, you know, even in terms of his opponent, I don't think he's a mug. You know, it's just, I know obviously they've got padded records, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of an upset here. And I always think back to Kovalev, when Kovalev came to the UK and he took on Nathan Cleverly, and nobody really knew much about him. It was kind of like, oh, who's this guy? Like, yeah, Cleverly's going to be able to beat him. And yeah, Kovalev just put the works on him. So I think it could be this guy that's coming over Ponce. I don't know much about him, but it could be another one of those. Also, I would definitely say look out for Solomon Dakers. He's a fighter under the S-Jam banner. We're going to put up our interview with him today from today's press conference. That will be on the channel later today. But yeah, look out for him. I think he's a decent talent. Fundamentals, you know, amateurs pedigree is really good coming out of Birmingham. So make sure you check him out, and he will be on the fight. He'll be fighting this weekend. So, but listen, it's been good. It's been a quiet weekend in boxing, and even next weekend's pretty quiet. But yeah, we'll definitely be chopping it up more. For those of you that are listening, please remember to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell, and please do comment and share all our clips that you see across the social medias. We're also looking out for more journalists, reporters, UK and the US. So yeah, if you are interested, please let us know. Definitely be bigging up. And Karma Serene's there saying, yeah, Big Soul, looking forward to it. Yeah, you know that. I think he's a good talent and look forward to watching his journey. So appreciate all the guys in the chat today. Much appreciated. Enough love. Big Sam, I'll let you do the closing.
Cheers, guys. Wraps on
Peace.
TV.